This video is about the connection and connections between the Ark of Noah and the Nazarite laws. And then I'll sprinkle in a little bit on the Rechabites as well. But this video is specifically for the YouTuber called Hebrew Nazarite. Because we're both interested in this character, the Nazarite, or the Nazir. And you can find the Nazarite laws in Numbers chapter 6. So I'm going to go over how they are related in the text and in Numbers. So that's the interesting part. All the numbers related to the flood are also related to the Nazarite vow. And most of them actually, I won't cover it here, but they're related to the cycles of the woman as well, and pregnancy and things like that. So here we have the Nazarite law. The thing that he's most famous for is not drinking wine, and it's pretty obvious how that's connected to Noah, and it mentions the evil that comes from it, wine, in the Torah with noach and lot. So the thing that makes the Nazarite so different is that he abstains from wine, and among other things. Okay, so here it is in number 6. If you usher a Nazarite vow to set himself apart from the Lord, he shall abstain from wine and any other intoxicant. So you can't even have anything to do with grapes, even fresh or dead. And he can't have anything from the grapevine, even seeds or skin. He can't shave his head or shave his hair. And go near a dead person, even if his mother or father died. Alright, so and then if that happens, you have to then shave the head on, and he'll shave it on the 7th day. And on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 pigeons, so 2 doves or 2 pigeons. Again, Noah is related to the dove. If you remember, he lets the dove go for 7-day periods, and then it comes back. There's 2 7-day periods with the dove. And then there will be some offerings, which again are connected to Noah. Noah famously gave offerings when he got off the ark. And then it goes into the different offerings, and it says here, this is the ritual or the Torah of the Nazarite. Here it is right here. This is the ritual or the laws or the instructions of the Nazarite, the Torah of the Nazarite. And on that day his term as a Nazarite is completed. He shall be brought to the entrance of the tent of meetings. And again, he'll bring some offerings. So I wanted to take that verse, this is the law, and this is the Torah of the Nazarite, and I punch it in, and it just so happens that the value, the gematria of that verse, is the same as this verse in Genesis 6:9. It says, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a ish sadiq tamim. So he's a man righteous and perfect, or unblemished. And tamim is connected to these offerings. They have to be unblemished offerings. So interesting that these offerings, or this is the Torah of the Nazarite. This verse has the same value as this verse that has Noah's name in it 3 times, mentioning that he's a righteous person, and tamim, perfect, unblemished. And we see here the word tamim multiple times in the unblemished offerings. As I said, here it is again, here over here. So we can see how these are all connected to Noah. And this rainbow, of course, representing the Noahide covenant, the covenant of the 7 laws of Noah in Genesis 9. Okay, and then we go on Down now to Numbers 6:21. Such is the obligation of a Nazarite. So again, this is the Torah of the Nazarite. And he has to bring offerings beyond his Nazarite requirements, must do exactly according to the vow that he made beyond his obligation as a Nazarite. So again, if you take "this is the Torah of the Nazarite," just that phrase, and punch it in, it has the same value as Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the 3 sons of Noah. This is in Genesis 5:32, Genesis 6:10, the same value as the sons of Noah. And of course, Noah had this incident with the wine, and then 2 of his sons walked backwards and covered him up. And then you have in Jeremiah 35 the Rechabites who had some wine placed in front of them and were told to drink some wine, and they said, "We will not drink, for our ancestor Jonadab, the son of Rechab, commanded us, you shall never drink wine, either you or your children, and you shall not live in houses or plant vineyards." And I know also that these people did not cut their hair or shave as well. So because we were told not to, we don't drink wine, neither our wives or our sons and our daughters. We don't live in houses. Everything that they were told to do, they did. And then Hashem, God, compares says to the Israelites, look at the Rechabites. They just had to be told by man, and they did it. Like, they obeyed. And I'm here performing miracles and just begging you to just obey the laws, and you refuse to do so. And he says, the family of Jonadab, son of Rechab, have indeed fulfilled the charge which their ancestor gave them, but this people has not listened to me. Speaking of the Israelites. And then it goes down. This is very interesting here. Okay, and it says here, because you have obeyed the charge or the mitzvot of your ancestor Jonadab, and kept all his commandments, the mitzvot, and done all that he enjoined upon you, assuredly, thus said the Lord of hosts, God of Israel, there shall never cease to be a man in the line of Jonadab ben Rechab standing before me. So again, these guys are a type of Nazarite, and they have now this special covenant made with God. Now I want to show you one thing. It's very interesting. It says here, the mitzvot of Jonadab, but it actually says Yehonadab there. And it's interesting that Yonah is dove, which again is connected to Noah. But if you take mitzvot Yehonadab here, and again, often it's spelled without this hay, so this hay is added here. Mitzvot Yehonadab has the value 613, which is the number of mitzvot in the entire Torah. It's the full 613, the 248, and the 365. Okay, so we mentioned this dove. Now let's get into how the numbers are all related as well, because we have different days in the ark. So for instance, we start off with a 40-day period. How are 40 in the Nazarite linked? Well, there's the 40 lashes for the Nazarite in some cases if he breaks the vow, or if he or she breaks the vow. They have long discussions here in Tractate Nazir about the 40 lashes for breaking it beforehand. And then we go on in the ark. We have a 150-day period, as discussed here, 150 days. And 150 days is also connected to the Nazarite. And they have discussions here, like it's talking about someone who takes on another Nazarite vow. There are two groups. If there are 2 groups of witnesses testifying that a certain man took several vows to be a Nazarite, one group claimed that he took 5 vows to be a Nazarite, and therefore should observe 150 days of Nazariteship. So we have 40 and 150 so far. So 150 days on the ark, 150 days of Nazariteship. And then after that, we have a 60-day period. However, a person can accept upon himself more than one Nazariteship and thereby become a Nazarite for 60 days. And it was mentioned back here as well that he took 2 vows and therefore he should observe 60 days of Nazariteship. So again, now we have 40, 150, and 60 all connected to the Nazarite laws and the days on the ark with Noah, who shouldn't obviously be drinking wine, and they definitely did not, nor did they cut their hair on the ark, nor were they living in a house or planting vineyards or anything like that. Okay, now we're getting into these 54-day periods and people of various levels of piety. This is kind of an interesting thing. I'm going to go up ahead one paragraph above, where it's speaking of the dove of Noah, essentially. The dove symbolizes our fondness for God and cleaving to him to the point of preparedness to die for the sake of his holy name. Israel is called the dove, as per Psalms 68:14, the wings of the dove covered with silver. Our sages comment that on this characteristic of the dove, that once it mated, it will not mate again with another female. And it compares it to a martyr because of the way that it dies. It's a graceful death. And then now down to our source. The cripple, described as sitting on the throne with 300 disciples at his feet, and is an allusion to the heavenly spheres and the 10 Sephirot. So 300 disciples. Each emanation comprises 10 sections, totaling 100, and it goes on. Okay, we can detect another allusion here. It is known and accepted that a spiritual day comes into existence every day a person makes a contribution to repairing the damage caused to God's earth by Adam's sin. And we know that the Nazarite is making a tikkun. And this is how the Arizal derives the concept from 139:16 in Psalms. Days were formed, that the positive deeds of man translate into tangible shapes, the day. Okay, and our parable describes these deeds as the disciples. Individuals of average piety perform such repairs on 54 days a year. The 54 days. The days on which they engage in fasting. And then it goes on about the fasts. And then it continues here. The fast commemorating the murder of Gedaliah and the New Year's Eve are included in the 40 days mentioned. We are therefore left with another 300 days. Interesting. The disciples mentioned in the parable 300 to tell us the student engaged in repairs. So tikkun on the other 300 days of the year as well. And 300, so we have this verse about, or this source about 54 days, and the dove, and then it says 300 of these disciples. 300 is one of the dimensions of the ark. This is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, and its height 30 cubits, which is 30 days, signifying the minimum length of the Nazarite laws. This is so far pretty incredible, all the links here. And then it goes on here. This is very interesting because we know that if you total up all the days, it comes to 365 days. So after the 54 days are complete, we have 365, and that's including the 7-day periods with the dove. Okay, and it's talking about 150 days, and then they're doing the calculation, counting the months on the basis of the solar year of 365 days. That's the total number of days they were on the ark, and this is how it's connected to the Nazarite again. I shall be a Nazarite as the number of the days of the sun. 365 Nazarite-isms as the number of days in the sun. He counts Nazaritisms as the number of the days of the sun. So 365 is also connected to the Nazarite. All of these days are connected to Noah and the Nazarite. All the sections, the different days on the ark. I shall be a Nazarite as the number of days in the sun. He becomes a Nazir Olam, so an everlasting, eternal Nazarite. And he deduced this from the episode to show that he does not become a Nazir Olam. This is what they're discussing here. So 365 Nazaritisms for the 365 days. Again, all of these numbers are connected even in gematria and even in the text. So every single level, the ark, the days on the ark are connected to the Nazarite laws. And of course, what did Noah do when he got out of the ark? He got drunk on wine from the vineyard that he planted.